Yagaloo, das Musikmagazin, heute natürlich wieder aus dem Art-Stalker hier in Berlin-Charlottenburg und bei mir ist Kelvin Jones. How are you, Kelvin?
Thank you. Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty nice, pretty well, so to say, but I mean, you are meanwhile a real Berlin expert, aren't you?
Probably more than most Berliners, yeah. I know it very, very, very well.
So how good is your German then?
Oh, sehr, sehr gut. Sehr gut.
Können wir dann das Interview auf Deutsch machen? Nein.
Ja, natürlich. No, we can't. No, just I've learned little bits to just kind of get me by, but that's about it. Yeah.
At least something. I mean, there are so many folks here who don't speak any German at all. So.
That is. I don't know why that is. It's like, it's such a beautiful, romantic language. I don't know why people, no. I don't know why people don't get into it more, you know? It's weird, because there's so many like words that you can say in German that aren't in English. So always feel like there's more you can almost express yourself with, you know? I don't know, it's a cool language.
So the reason why you're here, I want to introduce you to my audience, because you got your debut album released last year, Stop the Moment. What was it like when you first had the first copy in your hands?
Oh man, it's not a feeling you can really describe because it doesn't feel real. You know, just imagine working on something for so long and loving it so much, and then it's finally there and it's actually real, and they tell you that other people are going to hear it. It's just, yeah, an insane feeling.
So what means so long? So how long did you work on that?
It's difficult to say really, because I wrote about over 100 songs for the album, and I guess that took me a year, but then just in order to write, you got to live before that, and you know, I had to just live these stories first, and so it kind of took me my whole life to get this thing, you know.
Are you meanwhile 21?
Yeah,
21. So you started like 6 years ago doing music stuff, or as a child you are from Zimbabwe. I read that you were singing along with your parents all day long, more or less, but you were going on their nerves, right? A little.
Yeah, not more than a little. I was and still am the guy who is like, you're like, please just stop. Okay, we know you like singing, just stop. I'm that guy, but you know, it's what I love to do.
But was there any initial point? I don't know. I mean, you were like 15ish when you started making music.
I was 15. Well, I was 15 when I started making noise. I picked up a guitar when I was 15, but before that, I was always just singing along to Michael Jackson records, man, just like obsessed with it. And then, yeah, when I turned 15, my brother bought a guitar, and then I kind of took it off him and started learning how to kind of make noise under my singing. And that's when it started, yeah.
So did you take any lessons for the guitar, or maybe even for singing, for getting better with your voice and stuff, finding out the right technique?
Yeah, I should have. But no, I kind of just got obsessed with the guitar and just obsessed with figuring it out myself. And I feel like that's also that's a great way to learn an instrument. You make some mistakes and you don't have perfect technique and everything, but you have this love and this kind of way that you play that's unique to yourself, you know? And yeah, that's the way I did it anyway. Yeah.
Do you play any instruments besides the guitar, meanwhile?
I pretend to play some. I pretend to play piano. I play bass like a guitarist, which is basically not really playing it. And I'm awful with drums. I just don't understand drums at all. Just never got it. And that's it, yeah.
So the first thing was when you got the first 1 million video views for Call Me Home, when a friend put the video on reddit.com. What was it like? I mean, just 1 million within 24 hours, more or less?
Yeah, no, exactly. It was. So I remember leaving the house that night just to go out with some friends, and I left it, and the song had maybe 1,000 views, and then when I came back, it had about 600,000, I think, between 500 and 600,000 views, which, I mean, how do you even react to that? It was just like, I just sat down and refreshed my laptop to check that there wasn't like a glitch on YouTube, you know, and then just saw it the whole night, just keep on taking over until it was over 1 million like that, yeah.
And you celebrated with your friend then? A lot of drinking, or?
Oh yeah, man. We still drunk to this day. No, what's strange is when something like that happens is you're so lost and you're so confused that you can't really even celebrate. You just can't even feel anything. You're just so like, what's going on? Who am I? Is this even happening? And it was only, I guess, 3 months later that it finally sank in, and I was like, okay, let's go and do this music thing, you know? Yeah.
And how did you get in contact then with 4Music? Did they call you?
Yeah, they rang my home phone, rang my mom. No, it wasn't quite as sweet as that. It was just, I spoke to a lot of managers after that, and then I found the right management, and then we started speaking to every label, and it was crazy actually. I was just invited, they invited me and my managers out for a night in Berlin, I think we went to Munich maybe, and we just hung out, and I was like, these people are cool, you know, and it was just that, it wasn't business, it was just, these are people that I can work with, and these are people I can see spending time with, and that was it, you know.
What was the special chemistry between you guys?
I don't want to say this just because I'm here, but I think if you look up any other interviews I've done, you see I say the same thing, which is there's something that I just love about Germans, and I didn't know it until I met these guys, and it's the honesty, it's this kind of real, just like in your face honesty. It's just like, I don't like that song. It's like, okay, cool, let's move on. I like this one. And it's just, when I just met people who could just tell me what they thought without going around, you know, the road to tell me, it was really refreshing. And that's why, I guess.
Is this there was a bucket coming out of something, I don't know. Ooh, ghosts here, ghosts. What was it? Now the bucket blow my mind. Fuck.
No, I said, are you allowed to swear on this?
Of course.
Oh,
this is Germany. You can tell everything.
I always forget, and it always shocks me. It's insane. I didn't even see it. I just realized your shirt is urban fucking music.
Yeah, because you won an urban newcomer award, something.
Yeah.
So what was it? What was that in Britain? What was it, right?
Exactly. It was in UK. I won the urban newcomer award, which is the weirdest thing because winning a newcomer award is like, now prove it. Like, it's kind of like a challenge. It's like, now prove that you're worth it. And yeah, it's kind of exciting, man. It's really exciting. I forgot about that.
Now I got my question back. So the title, Stop the Moment, was it like a statement that you want to say, well, I got my record deal, I got my debut out, it's feeling great, the time right now, so I just want to stop this moment, or what was your idea behind that?
It was almost the opposite of that, because my whole idea with Stop the Moment was I don't want... The big moments in life, we always stop. We always appreciate and we always kind of grab. It's the little ones. It's the hanging out with your friends. It's just the first time I was in Berlin and I was in Kreuzberg and I was like, there's so many hipsters here. It's just those little things, you know? Those are the ones that I was really kind of obsessed with, just stopping and appreciating and not letting them slip. So yeah, I guess it's sort of the opposite idea. Yeah.
And all your songs, were they all produced here in Berlin and written in Berlin, or?
No, not written, no, all written in weird, I wrote some of them in LA in a car park, I wrote some of them in my mum's conservatory in like a little room, like I wrote some in Berlin, I wrote Stop the Moment in Berlin, but yeah, it's kind of all over the place, but then we did produce the album here in Berlin, yeah.
So what is your technique like? Do you have a iPad or your iPhone when it comes to ideas? Or do you old-fashioned like pen and paper guy?
I started on pen and paper. In fact, it's kind of a cute story. I was in university studying civil engineering, and then I left to do music. And I bought a book for civil engineering, one of those big, like A3, like huge notepads. And I did maybe one engineering sketch, and then the rest of it was just lyrics. And so I used to write all my lyrics in this huge, huge, ridiculous notebook. And when I finished that, I decided I should probably start using my phone. So I just kind of record every little idea. That's what I do now.
Your songs are, well, popish, bluesy somehow. Where does this affinity come from for this kind of music? And could you also imagine that the next album would be totally different, like a funk album or something?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. So
finally, yeah, the first one, yeah.
All right, this is the only one that I want to answer. No, that is a really interesting question because I've just started thinking about that today, really. In terms of like my affinity for this music, blues and pop, I was just noticing your tattoo earlier, and I was saying I've got one kind of in the same position. This is BB. Everyone should know about and learn about a guy called BB King, who is this blues hero of mine.
I saw him once playing with U2 in Dortmund. Well, it's like 30 years ago. I'm so old.
Oh gosh, but that's what song is it? What was the song they were doing together? They did this isn't very interesting television, but they did When Love Comes to Town. What is it called? Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, that was the song. But anyway, I fell in love with his music and then fell in love with blues just as a genre of music. And I've always loved pop. Like I said, listen to Michael Jackson, like well-constructed pop. And I was always interested in this idea of kind of hiding blues in pop, you know, so that people didn't realize it until it was too late. And they were like, what is that? And it's like, that's blues. And then they discovered this music that they didn't know they loved. So that's why I love it. And when it comes to the next record, I've just been thinking about this because I've been listening to a lot of music. You know, when you're making your own music, you don't listen to much. So when I kind of stopped for a little while, I've just been like, and I mean, Jack Garrett, James Bay, George Ezra, Edge, just like a bunch, then The Weeknd, Ben Howard, just a bunch of really different types of music. I listened to Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar, listened to things which I never thought I'd listen to, and it's got me obsessed with different ways of making music. I now don't see music as just this one way to do it. So I have no idea what's going to happen in the next record. I have no idea, but I'm excited.
But will love be still the main topic? Or what other subjects are in your songs?
So I was having this conversation again about my album, and there's, I guess it's about 60% love songs is what I calculated. And what I realized is as the album went on, as in my writing, there's fewer and fewer love songs. It became like Stop the Moment. It was about other things that were going on because I was growing up and I just had more things to write about and I could write about them. So I feel like the next album will be more like half and half. You know, love is still very, very important to me, and I think it always will be. But I think I've got now slightly more things to talk about, and I'm able to talk about more things. So I think it's going to be half and half, yeah.
But I don't want to be too indiscreet, but I mean, at the age of 21 and touring so much and doing all this music business stuff, do you have time for love?
And you can't. It's always an interesting question. Like, I mean, just for yourself to be like that thing of like time for love, and it's weird because love doesn't really. It doesn't need time, if that makes sense. If you're having to make time for it, then it's not something like with music. When I was at university, I didn't make time to play guitar. I just played guitar all the time, you know? And it's the same way. I just feel like you always go, you know what? I just don't want to love anything or anyone. I just want to focus on my work, and it just comes in like that. And so, yeah, it's always there, you know? It's always there. And I think it has to be. If you're going to write songs and if you're going to live life, you can't forget that part of life, you know? Yeah.
So let me see what other things I do have here on my pad. How come that Good Together, which is a totally uplifting song, is the opener of the album?
Because it's both uplifting and completely not. You know, like it's
the slight version on the deluxe.
No, not the slight return, but just the. If you listen to the lyrics of it's we're not good together, all we do is hurt each other, and it's this really sad story and this depressing.
But that's the funny thing that many musicians do, like very dark lyrics put into a funny sounding or nice sounding song here.
It's almost sometimes too obvious. It feels too obvious to write a sad song to sad piano, you know? And one of my favorite things is to trick someone into dancing, and then before they know it, they're singing along, and then they go, wait, what am I singing? And then they realize what it means, and now they've got a second meaning for this song, you know? And I think it's just, I also did that with a song of mine called Closer, which is like the lyrics are like, we could be a little closer, and it's like, dun, 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 and it's like funky, but it's just the song about yearning and being kind of, you know, upset, whatever it is, and I love doing that, you know? Yeah.
Do you think that especially the German audience will really listen to the lyrics, or do they just feel the vibes of the song? And
I was so shocked at how attentive to the lyrics the German audience have been. Just that I came in thinking, okay, I can just kind of write whatever I want, kind of say, you know, I felt like I'm not going to be judged. And in interviews and when I talk to fans, like the depth that they go into when they describe what these lyrics mean to them, sometimes I'm just like, I didn't even think that, you know? I didn't even think about that. And that's good because it keeps me on my toes, you know? It means that when I'm writing things, I'm thinking a little bit more about what I'm writing, you know?
Do you consider yourself as a storyteller?
No. I'm in many ways the opposite of Bob Dylan. Like, I consider myself a melody maker. Like, that for me is key. That's the number one thing. If the song doesn't make me feel something just from the song, I don't want to hear it. Just make it a poem instead, you know? And then the lyrics come afterwards, which they're kind of like an afterthought sometimes, and I just speak and see what comes out. But yeah, to me, it's gotta be a melody first, you know?
Feeling first.
Yeah, definitely, man.
What about this official video of Call You Home? I mean, this flying around thing. I was looking at it and wondering, did they use green screen or is it really a television set flying there?
What do you think?
Tell me.
I'm always intrigued because the one thing that kind of, the one little thing that annoyed me about the video is that so many people think it's green screen. Everyone I meet, they think we just faked it, and that's what's cool to me about the video is, for anyone who hasn't seen it, we sent a TV into space, is what we did. And we actually did. We actually sent a TV with balloon and GoPros attached to it, filming it, and it went up into space, and then it dropped somewhere in like Manchester in England, and we picked up another one and did it again. And it's just, a ridiculous idea, and that's why I really love it.
Who came up with the idea?
I wish I could say it was me. It was actually this fantastic director called Joe Connor, and he I don't know what, he came, there were like a bunch of ideas for the video, and a lot of them were kind of really simple and obvious. And he came kind of like a crazy man, was like, how about we put a TV in space? And I was like, you're insane, fucking love it, let's do it.
And the living room scene at the end with the mountains in the background, would that be a living room for you, like design-wise, or was it just too, I don't know?
I'm very, living room-wise, I'm very messy, is the easiest way to put it. I think most musicians and most kind of creative people tend to be just not very clean, and not clean, but just like, I put everything everywhere, and I know where it is, but nobody else understands.